You know what we should talk about when we start the show? Which isn't yet, but will be soon. Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
we
a
should
good
probably
idea.
do that because we're trying to be professionals.
Do you want to do that right now?
Let's do that right now.
Okay.
So, before we start the show... before we start the show. Do we want to do before the show? This whiskey's great, by the way. What do you call it?
Jack Daniels?
Oh, okay, great. Fantastic. So before we start the show officially, guys, we do want to let you know the Media Lunch Break is going to be coming to Comic-Con this year.
New York Comic-Con.
The New York Comic-Con this year. Yeah.
I think San Diego Comic-Con already happened.
It did, and that's why I was assuming that they would know that we're not going to be in
Well,
San
there are
Diego.
other Comic-Cons. Like, there's actually one happening in Jersey I was looking at called, like, the Superhero Superfest Convention, and it's like... that sounds awesome. I thought about getting us tickets. They're $18 each. It's coming up, like, next week or something, and their biggest speaker is some, like, co-star of Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I know.
That's amazing. We are coming to the New York Comic-Con this year at the Javits Center. We're going to be there all 4 days.
Yep.
I might only be there 3 days.
Yeah, well, we will have a stand-in representative.
We will in some way,
yeah.
The podcast will be represented.
Wow. Let me take over. So this will be, it's all 4 days, which is the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's Thursday through Sunday. I'm definitely going to be there all 4 days. We'll be bringing all sorts of people as well because we have our posse.
We have connections.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn it.
Yep.
So keep an eye out for us. We'll be keeping an eye out.
We're going to be giving out tons of gifts.
We are
even for people who've never heard of us.
Absolutely. We're going to be playing
because we have more gifts than fans.
Yes, we're going to be playing some games. We don't have a booth. We're going to be kind of roaming the floor, heading to some panels, finding people.
Yeah.
We're going to be giving, like Andrew said, we're going to be giving out some free stuff, both at Comic-Con, and we're going to give you a chance to win bigger free stuff that we're going to send you through several challenges and games and contests and things like that. So keep an eye out for us. If you're listening and you're attending the New York Comic-Con, those days again are October what, Andrew?
5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll keep an eye out for you. And
nice.
Now, on with the show?
On with it.
We did a promo like big boys. Yeah, everybody. Welcome to the Media Lunch Break, bringing you all of your comic, geek, and movie news. All the time it takes to eat a good sandwich and have a Jack and Coke. My name is Chris Treble. Alongside me, as always, is my co-host, Andrew Dunn. Say hello, Andrew.
One of my favorite jokes is Dave Attell, who says that the great thing about Jack Daniels is when you drink Jack, you don't know where you're going to be waking up, but you know you won't be wearing any pants.
It's true fact. In fact, I'm not wearing any right now. So, boys and girls, children of all ages. Few years ago, we got a TV series called Daredevil, something that we looked forward to. And ever since that day, they've been building towards another TV series.
Luke Cage.
And even after that series, there was another television series that they told us about called The Defenders.
Yep, because we skip over Iron Fist.
Yes, we do. That series has come and gone, I guess. Well, it's not really gone. You can watch it anytime you want.
Who gave you this position
I don't know.
on a podcast?
I took it myself, and I'm squandering it. I'm just drunk with power.
And liquor.
But mostly liquor. And so, I just finished The Defenders not too long ago. You've watched all of The Defenders?
Yes.
We have not gotten a chance to talk about this at all.
No, we haven't.
I think... Again, with these series, I do like to give a little time because, life happens. And so sometimes people don't have just a weekend to binge watch it, even if it is just
it's good to sit on it as well. Something like The Defenders, it's, we'll get into it a little bit, but
right.
my basic feeling on it is that it is a mediocre show with a nice, crispy, crunchy, chocolatey shell. So like when I first saw it, I was like, yeah. And then the more that I thought about it, it got away from me.
Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of with you on it. Okay, so real quick before we really delve in, try and tell me what the basic plot of The Defenders is.
Sure. So the basic plot is that the Hand, who we know from previous series,
yes,
is attempting to take pieces of something, you don't know what it is at first, from underneath the city, although this is all stuff that, I mean, spoilers.
Yeah, we're just going to say spoilers throughout.
So they're trying to take dragon bones? Dragon bones from the structure underneath the city, and if they take those, it will allow them to live forever.
Right.
Or at least an extremely extended amount of time until they run out of the dragon bones that they need. But if they do that, they will greatly limit the structural integrity of the support underneath the city, which will cause all of New York City to collapse. And it is up to someone to stop them. We just happen to, by chance, be given these 4 unlikely heroes who are all trying to find the problem, the source of all of the problems in their individual areas.
Right.
From previous series, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Daredevil. And all happen to be caused by the Hand, and they all lead to the same address where all 4 of our unlikely heroes meet and come together in order to face
fight.
This organization.
So I'm kind of with you. I kind of like that summary of how you felt about the Defenders.
Yeah.
Like chocolate coating and now I've lost it. But you know what
not really much in there. It's probably like a meatball with chocolate coating. Tastes good at first.
That actually sounds delicious.
No, you are wrong.
I could go for a meatball. And wait, that's not the point.
I could meatball a gopher.
Oh, yeah. Probably a little gamey, though. But not bad. If baked correctly with the proper spices. Is there a dogfight going on outside your apartment?
I heard you say meatballs.
Meatballs. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this as far as the Defenders. It's 8 episodes long, which I'm more than happy with.
I'm the opposite. See, I think they switched it. I think every series before this one should have been 8
episodes.
We should have had 4 episodes of them coming together,
right,
and then 8 episodes or 7 episodes or whatever of them dealing with the task at hand.
I think if they had not even altered the plot, but done something slightly different with it, I'd be with you. The thing was, here's the thing about the Defenders for me, is the first 3 episodes I was intrigued. They didn't give the one good thing that they do is they know how to kind of string you along in a good way and not give up all the information up front, and then you're just waiting for your characters to catch up with you.
Yeah,
which is great. First episode I got done, I was like, yeah, I want to jump right into the second episode. Second episode I got done, I was like, yeah, okay. You know what? I do want to give the third episode a watch. And then by the third episode, I was like, get fucking on with it already.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing. They don't... they try and keep everything mysterious, but they keep it so vague that I stopped caring maybe like midway to 3/4 of the way through.
It's amazing that you bring up that exact thing. Third episode, I literally watched it 3 times before I got all the way through it without falling asleep.
Right.
I literally fell asleep twice.
Right.
And then one morning I got up extra early and I was like, I'm going to be awake.
Right.
Because I was worried that it was just, I'd been watching it at like 11 o'clock at night on days that I'd been doing a lot of work and maybe I'm just tired. But I realized that episode makes no sense.
Which episode is episode 3?
So episode 3 is the one where they actually all come together, where they all follow their clues.
Is it the one before the Chinese restaurant episode?
Probably, yeah. Okay. It's the one.
It's the hallway scene. At
yes,
the end, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Where they all meet at this place with Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
They fight a little bit. Electra's there, and then they run off.
Right.
That last scene is really good.
Yes.
And it almost makes the episode worth it, but nothing in that episode makes any damn sense. There's no reason for them to all meet at the same time in the same place. Stuff like, and it's mostly just little things like when Luke Cage goes to the mom of the kid who is in jail for committing a crime or whatever that was clearly caused by this company, the Hand. When she goes there, or when he goes to meet her, he says, "Here, your son wanted you to have these lottery tickets," and she says, "Oh, just put them in that box up there. I can't reach it, so he always puts it up there." And I was like, let me get this straight. You guys are super poor.
Right.
He just buys you lottery tickets that you never use.
Right.
You don't touch them.
Right.
And he just puts them in a box.
Right.
Here's the crazier part. When Luke Cage goes to put them in the box, there's a wad of cash with a parking ticket. Why did he put the wad of drug money and the parking ticket in with the lottery tickets?
I think that's because he knows it's a place the mom never goes.
Why would he put but if she wanted to look at the lottery tickets,
right? But
then she would get someone.
The son knows he.
Well, then put it in a floorboard or something.
Yeah.
You know, like that's she might at some point want to look at them.
Right.
So that alone, like, doesn't make any sense. And then there's stuff with, like, Daredevil, and, like, sometimes he can hear people and sometimes he can't.
Right.
Like, Jessica Jones is right behind him at one point and he doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
Weird stuff like that just doesn't work. And then not even to mention that, like, the Iron Fist is just such a piece of shit.
And that's the thing. And listen, I don't want to harp on this point because I think everyone is in agreement on it. And really, you can just go back to us ripping apart the Iron Fist series because it's all of the same problems carries over a little bit.
Yeah.
The only relief you get from it is because you have now 3 characters who have had series of their own and are pretty well established. They can really call him on all of his bullshit.
I don't think they do it
really
enough.
Refreshing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. That being said, there's still a big problem. The big problem with the Iron Fist is that it makes no damn sense that he can't just summon the Iron Fist. And in some ways in this series, it makes even less sense because he's like, "Oh, it's chi. That's how I summon it." And Jessica Jones goes, "No, you don't."
Yeah,
like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And listen, you can make an argument that Jessica Jones doesn't know what she's talking about, and she's just calling bullshit just because that's how she is. But Stick comes in, and he's like, "I summon the Iron Fist through chi," and Stick goes, "No, you don't."
Yeah.
And at that point, you go, "Well, somebody fucking tell him how he does this."
Yeah.
And that way I know that Stick in the end, there's a twist with Stick, and he turns out to kind of have more selfish motivations.
Right.
And so maybe there's no reason for him to show this. But what I really wanted from Stick is for him to have a scene with the Iron Fist where the Iron Fist is like, "I summon this through chi and it takes a lot to do it," and da-da-da. And he's like, "Do you want to know how to do this so you can just do it whenever you want? Because I can show you that in like 30 seconds. Because Stick seems like the type of guy who would know how to do that.
Or at minimum, you need a moment with just the two of them. So there's a part where he goes to kill Danny Rand, the Iron Fist.
Really, quick end result to that thought is I just wanted them to fix that problem, and you could have done it at any point.
No, here's how you fix that problem. When Stick says, "No, you don't," have Danny Rand go, "Okay, how?" And he doesn't have to answer.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest problem with Iron Fist, the series, is that there are a lot of times when you're like, wait, why isn't he asking about this other thing?
Why? Yeah.
Why aren't they bringing this up?
Yeah.
Why isn't he telling them the story about his dead parents? Like, what is good? That would solve everything in this one little thing.
Yeah.
And stuff with Stick, like, it would be what would really sell that moment of Stick trying to kill Danny Rand is if they had a moment where maybe Stick is meditating. Right. Maybe right before, instead of making Luke Cage pass out, maybe he's lighting the sulfur and getting everything ready to do what he was doing when he makes Luke Cage pass out. And he's sitting and talking, and Danny Rand comes over and is like, "It's my chi. I know what I'm doing." Right. And instead, Stick gives him some very calm, meditative wisdom.
Right.
That's very Eastern and very ambiguous.
You'd sum it up in like a fortune cookie like phrase.
But even maybe a minute's worth of a monologue.
Right.
That's like, it comes from who you are as a person. It's not chi. It's not some physical thing that you can think of. It's who you are. It's what you deserve and where you belong. And we can go through that whole thing and have Danny. You could even make a joke out of it by having Danny go, "Is that true?" And he can go, "No, I'm just stalling until you pass out," and then he just falls over.
Right.
At least then.
There are things you can do.
At least then it brings it up.
And that's what I mean. I was looking for just even one sentence where, Like, hell, you could simplify it, and he's like, I summoned it through my chi, and Stick just goes, do you?
Oh, sure.
Like, and if
have you ever questioned
all that does is unlock the mind.
You can just say, yeah, have you questioned it? That's a very Eastern
Are you sure?
thing to do.
And all it has to do is unlock the mind, and then, like, but then that would create something really interesting where 2 episodes down the line, they're like, well, this guy's great, but he can only summon the Iron Fist like once every hour, and he's like, not anymore, and he just fucking lights up and starts.
He can only summon the Iron Fist when the writers need him to.
Right, exactly.
I wanted to say as well that the baffling stupidity of, hey, whatever you do, don't go to this door because the Iron Fist opens the door, and then he's like, fuck you, I'm going to the door.
Yeah, I think,
and then uses the Iron Fist.
Here's what I think was interesting, and I don't mean interesting even in a bad way, if you can consider interesting in a bad way. But the one thing, parallel I did notice that at first I was on board for, and then slowly it just annoyed the crap out of me, is Marvel has this interesting pattern of, with their teams, taking kind of the weakest link of all of them and trying to make that the crux of their team. So with the Avengers, you had Loki be the main villain.
Right.
Thor, of those 4 movies, I would argue is kind of the weakest, or not even the weakest, but kind of the most obscure and uninteresting.
Certainly with Loki, he is the weakest emotionally.
Right.
He couldn't kill Loki.
Right.
You know, the others could,
no,
if they had the chance.
No, but I'm saying, like, of the 4 movies, like, the one I would want to repeat watch the least is probably Thor. And they took that villain and that storyline and made that the crux of their biggest movie.
Which is funny, too, because the hero of the Avengers who has the biggest character flaws is Tony Stark.
Right.
Who ends up saving the day.
Right, but also, like, they didn't take the Red Skull, or they didn't take Obadiah Stane and make them the main villain,
right? Which
would be the logical choice. They chose Loki, from the movie that probably did it made money, but it did the worst of the original 4, and so they made the Iron Fist easily the weakest one of those 4 characters in the series. They made him the crux, and at first it was like, okay, I'm on board with this. Like, let's strengthen.
Well, especially after we've gotten the series of the Iron Fist, where we hate it. Exactly. We hated him.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
He is an idiot.
We'll make him the crux of the good series, and that'll build him up, and that's great. And then halfway through, I was like, I still don't like him, and it's because I don't know what the fuck is going on in this series.
Yeah.
3 episodes in, they're playing it mysterious, and I was like, yeah, I want to keep going with this.
Yeah.
They're like, we have to get I forget what they call it. That keeps them alive.
Oh,
there's a word that they keep using. I want to say substance, material. It's something very generic.
Yeah, it's the same word they use in Voltron, but I can't remember what it is. But it's something.
But
like
whatever
that.
it is, like, I was into it, and then after a while, they never really, like, they said about the dragon bones for the last episode, and I'm not even, but. Like, if you hadn't told me that, I still didn't quite get that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't get that the dragon bones are the things that keep in the... Also, you're building a tunnel.
Right.
And they keep talking about wanting to go to Kunlun.
Yes.
So, I think this is also where it fell apart for me. You have an antagonist who says they want 2 different things, and they never tell me which one is more important to them,
right?
Or why they're equally important, or how they connect to each other. They're just like, oh, we need to get back to Kunlun, and there's a door. We built a deep tunnel, and now there's a door that only the Iron Fist can unlock.
Right.
So logically, my mind goes, oh, well, that door unlocks a pathway to Kunlun.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people thought.
And then they unlock it, and then there's dragon bones there. And then they're like, oh, this is the essence. This is how we stay alive forever.
That was it.
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
They're like, this is the essence. This is how we stay alive forever. And if we dig all these out, New York will collapse. And I'm like, wait, what? When did that become the thing?
Why? How did they get there? What happened? I don't understand. That seems very strange.
Also, and this was, again, I just watched the last episode earlier today, so it's fresh in my mind. But that last episode actually pissed me off a lot. Because the 4 defenders. I'm sorry, the 3 remaining defenders, because Iron Fist is already down there.
Right.
But the 3 remaining defenders go down in that elevator, walk in, fight a bunch of people who are really no match for them.
Right.
And then fuck off. Not one point does anybody go, are these fucking dragon bones?
Yeah.
What the fuck are these things? Like,
which is the whole point of the Defenders.
That. Yeah. No one.
The whole point of the Defenders is it's supposed to be the group of people who are much more realistic, which is why you get like Jessica Jones, who's like, "Shut the fuck up!"
Right.
You know?
No one looked around and went, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Like they had an opportunity to really bring on the mysticism,
yeah.
and make something really cool, and they don't. Like they just barely hinted dragons.
Yeah. I still have a problem as well with the fight scenes that like they're really beautiful and they do a great job with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, but Iron Fist and Daredevil still fight the exact same way. Yes. And we need more like wushu kung fu of Danny Rand running across the room and doing a flying jump kick,
right.
As opposed to just like a spinning roundhouse or something that would be a more jiu-jitsu
Also again,
move.
Danny Rand should be a much better fighter than he is.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Like, way better.
He shouldn't really need the Iron Fist, for the most part. But one thing I will say that I really liked, so I was worried, especially after I saw them start to fight together, I was like, these two are going to look exactly the same. They're both wearing suits, like a white suit with a black tie.
Oh, yeah.
Or a white shirt with a black tie, and I was like, they're going to... And they have basically the same fighting style. They're going to get really easily mixed up. But the direction is really good at, like, putting them next to each other. Charlie Cox, or Matt Murdock, rather, is so... Like, when he's fighting or when he's, like, in ready mode, he's, like, hunched over and his fists are clenched.
Oh, yeah.
And his shoulders are tense and he's breathing hard. And he looks like more like a Wolverine-style character.
He looks like a boxer.
Well,
he looks like his dad taught him.
Well,
he's
no.
A fighter.
My point, though, is that he looks a lot like a Wolverine-type character who's, like... dirty and gritty and he's ready for anything, whereas Iron Fist is always just sort of composed and collected, which is an interesting choice. I wish that would come out more in both of their fighting styles. I wish that we never had to see Iron Fist like struggle. I wish we could just see him be water and loose and flexible, and he's just like, oh, you're doing that maneuver, well, I'll do this instead. And Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock, is much more of the like gritty, I'm gonna pummel everything to death sort of person.
You know what, to add on to that, I think it'd be great to see, so Daredevil is fighting and he's an excellent fighter and he's trained very well, but it's like someone doing a choreographed dance and then an even better dancer coming in and improvising around that person.
Right.
So like Matt Murdock is fighting and I almost said Finn Jones. Finn Jones, the actor, just comes in and starts kicking ass. And the Iron Fist it can observe him in the fight and then kind of join up but maneuver around him. So you get the sense that Daredevil never has to change his style and can't really because he doesn't know anything else. And the other guy can do circles around him.
Right.
But
sort
it
of
looks
fill in the empty spots.
Fill in all the negative space. And it doesn't look like showing up and it doesn't look like beating. It's just like an elegant almost ballet together.
But the reason I bring that up is to just point out that the direction of the Defenders is really good. It is. And it's some of the choreography and all of the writing that's the worst. Yeah. The writing is really bad for the most part.
There are good, like I said, there are good twists and turns in this. And I respect what I think what they were trying to do, and that's not show their hand too early. And I think that's a trap that they could have easily fallen into. And so I will applaud them for trying to avoid that. That being said, they actually did their job too well. Yeah. To the point that by episode 6, I still don't know what they're getting at. Right. And there was no twist or turn to it.
Well, we didn't even have them as the Defenders. I mean,
until like episode 4.
And that is halfway through the season.
Right. And you know what? I was fine. Again, I was fine with that. But that being said, once you get them together, you need to make a turn for something else. Like people hate the series Lost for a lot of legitimate reasons. And one of the biggest ones is that it asked a lot of questions, and for every question it answered, it asked 2 more. But what was great about that, what kept that going, and what kept it stimulating is that it at least twisted some way. It took a turn.
Right.
It didn't go in one direction the whole time. And that's what kept it interesting. Whether you hated that after a while or not, that is what kept that stimulating.
Right.
And this does the exact opposite. And this is where it got boring, is that it set up, 5 questions. What does the hand want? How are these people going to come together? How are these people going to defeat the hand? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then it never answered those 5 questions,
right.
and asked another set of 5 questions.
Right.
If you have 8 episodes, by episode 4, answer those 5, ask me another 5.
See, I actually think one thing that would have helped really fix this show is make it 12 episodes and take 4 episodes to establish them as defenders,
right?
But really make it make sense.
Yes.
Solidify concretely with no plot holes,
right,
how they all come to the same place.
And that's why I said if they had done that, and if they had answered these questions,
right,
and then given me new questions,
right,
I'd be like, let's do 13 episodes.
And that's sort of a similar way that Daredevil season 2 happened, where we had like the first half, or maybe the first third was the Punisher arc,
and then Elektra,
No,
I think it was exactly half.
Well, no, I think it was a third, because we had Punisher, and then we had Elektra, and then we had Punisher and Elektra.
Yeah.
Then we had the main arc, so it was like 4 episodes, 4 episodes, 4 episodes.
Even Luke Cage.
Yeah.
They had halfway through Cottonmouth dies.
Right, yes. And then there's this new guy.
And then a new thing comes in and it changes it completely.
Yeah.
And that's good storytelling.
Yeah.
You string me along just long enough, and when I catch up with you, you take a different direction, and now I gotta catch up with you again.
Yeah.
This, I never caught up with them, so good on them, but by the time I did...
But then there's no payoff.
I don't care.
Yeah, and there's no payoff.
Yeah. Because they didn't really even answer the questions that I was asking, even through 8 episodes. They didn't make it explicitly clear.
So I have one last question before we move on.
Okay.
What is up with Matt Murdock, do you think?
Like, where is he?
Yeah, what happened?
That set looks familiar. I think it was featured in the first season of Daredevil.
Maybe.
Isn't that the place he lived with the nun that raised him or something after his dad died?
Oh, could be.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong. What I thought before that scene happened was I thought they booked it down that tunnel.
Yeah.
And he was going to come out of Kunlun and make his way back to New York.
Yeah.
Because again, the tunnel's collapsing. This is just a logic thing. The tunnel's collapsing and they're making out.
Yeah.
Which I get, it's climactic in a character sense. But at the same time, like, just run down the tunnel, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you're so in love,
don't you want to stay alive?
Don't you want to stay, and don't you want to keep her alive?
Yeah.
So run down the tunnel. It goes in another direction.
Yeah.
Like, this way is definitely going to kill you. That way may kill you or may not.
I was nearly furious that I was like, are they killing the one person I connect to after this?
I mean, I knew they weren't going to kill him,
yeah.
But at the same time, by the way, Danny Rand said that he whispered, "Protect my city." I think what he really whispered was like, "You're the worst superhero ever." Like, I really wanted that to be like, "You're such a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing."
Yep.
Like, that's all I wanted from that.
I mean, there's been some speculation, including perhaps he has amnesia and doesn't know who he is or where he is or how he got there or what's going on or who his friends are.
Right.
And he's going to try and figure out who he is and where he belongs. Another thing people are speculating is that he has eyesight back.
That would be fucking great.
Maybe. I don't know.
That would be great.
I don't know. You take away his only flaw.
No, but I think it's great. I mean, listen, I'm not like great, make it permanent. But I think if you're going to set up season 3.
Yeah.
And where do you go from here? Like,
season 2?
No, season 3.
Oh, you mean
for Daredevil? I'm saying. Then like, let's do that.
Well, because people are also saying, like, what if they do like a Charles Xavier thing? Like, he gets his eyesight back, but all of his other stuff is gone.
Right, because he no longer
needs it.
Yeah, his senses recede now.
Yeah,
which I think it would be interesting.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the hand? When I say the hand, I mean like the 5 main people.
You know, they kept referencing this mysterious person. Like there was in the first few episodes, he kept saying like the other one is coming, or what do we say to the other?
Right.
You know, and I was like, that has to be one of two people, or I'm gonna be pissed. It either has to be Wilson Fisk,
right?
Like I want to fucking see Vincent D'Onofrio in this series. I would lose my mind if he appeared. He didn't.
Yeah.
Or Stick.
Oh, okay.
How good would that have been?
If
that
he
he's one of the hand, and he's like trying to tear it down from the inside.
That'd be actually really.
And then it just turned out to be their twist was that it's the dude who died in Iron Fist.
Oh yeah.
Okay, whatever. I don't care.
That being said, I liked those five. I kind of like those five characters better than I like the Defenders.
Well, yeah, I really don't like what's his face though. I don't like Bukaki. What's his name?
But Doku. Sudoku.
Yes. Bukaki Sudoku. I really don't like him.
Yeah, no, I don't like him either. Madame Gao, fantastic in all of the series. I do like her.
Sigourney Weaver was fantastic really strong. Addition.
The guy who didn't speak English,
great.
Fucking great.
The fact that everyone understands him and he understands everyone, perfect.
I love that.
And I like that new guy too, the like South American dude or South African, whatever they said he was.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I love that group, and I wish they'd given them more specific direction, like as far as a character journey.
Same.
Again, if they were just choose one, we want to get the essence, or we want to get back to Kunlun. And because what I thought they were doing is 4 episodes of them trying to get that essence back, and then they get the essence, or even 5. Like take it, that's fine.
Yeah,
and then give me 2 to 3 episodes of them trying to get back to Kunlun.
Well, here's the other thing too. What happens? All we are told is that if they take the essence, the city's gonna fall, right?
If they take all of the bones, although that looked like a lot of bones.
That's what I'm saying.
So why does it have to be at that one location?
And also right. So that must be like a pinpoint or something. That maybe if you take them all out at that location, a domino effect occurs.
Yeah,
but Sigourney Weaver isn't going to just walk down there and take them.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to need like bulldozers and shit.
But here's my other thing that I just thought of now. They say that thing is like a door. The thing that only Iron Fist can open is like a door. But if but New York City has a width and a length.
Right.
So if you take out all of the bones and all of New York is going to crumble, couldn't you just drill on the other side? Like essentially... So say that tunnel that they broke through, the door headed north.
Okay.
So couldn't you just go to the next block and drill on the other side of the door? It's not a door, it's just a wall. Do you know what I mean? Like that, I don't understand.
Yeah, couldn't you just dig a hole? Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was built maybe it's encased in a dome.
Right, but that's what I mean is that
by magical
when
monks.
they said it's a doorway. And I'm like, oh, there's a tunnel. And I assumed that it was a tunnel to Kunlun, which means like that tunnel doesn't really exist in our plane of reality.
Right. It's more like a gateway.
Yeah, exactly. So if you drill
like a wormhole.
If you drilled on the other side
nothing
of
would
that
happen.
tunnel, you're just digging
in front of the
down
door.
Into solid. Yeah. It's always going to be solid rock.
I mean, it could be that it's encased in like a magic dome.
Sure. But again, then their plot was let's dig out all the dinosaur bones.
But my point though is that like, okay, they're like, we got to stop them right away. Right. But like, they got to get contractors down, you know, like.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And then and then the Defenders come down and they don't really defeat anyone. They defeat a bunch of thugs.
And
it
also
took a little longer than it needs to for them.
Yeah, it does.
And then they're like, oh, now we got to get out of here. And I was like, why did you go to... Because if they're blowing up the building, why
just don't go down.
Just blow up the building.
Just leave them down there.
Yeah, just why go in the elevator if you have the C4, the big bag of explosive that was on a timer?
Yeah,
set the
just
timer, put it in the elevator, hit down, walk out the door.
Yeah,
elevator just goes on down, calmly goes down.
Yeah, I mean, if the doorway is magic and only the Iron Fist can get in, then the bones will be... Although Danny Rand was already down there, right?
He was, and he had opened the door because she took his fist and pressed it against it or whatever.
There are going to be casualties.
Yeah, but that's... Yeah, they were like, we got to save Danny. And I'm like...
do you?
I get that. But then take the C4 with you and just get Danny. And then just...
Yeah, that actually would have been a cooler ending if, like, Danny jumped at the same time that, like, Jessica Jones threw the bag.
Right.
And they just passed each other.
Yeah, just exchange it and then get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. It actually almost would have been better if the bones were treated as a MacGuffin. Like, I almost would have rather not known what was behind the door. If they were just like, we have to get behind this door. You know that it's something bad if the hand needs it.
Right.
And, like, the tension is... It's more... There's more anxiety in what's behind that door.
Right.
If you don't know.
But that's the thing. Is they kind of did that where they were like, what's behind the door? What's behind the door? And then he presses the fist and it explodes. And then the last shot of that episode is him lying in the dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
And then the next episode, there's just like no mention of the fact. I keep saying dinosaur. It's dragon bones.
It doesn't matter.
But the next episode, there's really not much mention of dragons. They're like, oh, these were beasts that roamed the earth like years ago.
Danny, you killed one, remember?
And that's it. Yeah, and Danny's like, oh yeah, dragons, I've come in contact with them. And that's pretty much it. And again, nobody else shows up and is like, holy shit, what is this?
Yeah.
And then he has to explain it or anything. They just like roll in and don't make any notice of the fact that the tunnel is ribbed with dragon bones.
For her pleasure.
For her pleasure.
Yeah.
It's certainly not for ours.
No, it's not great.
It's good, but it's not great. And it's good, but when you have a Defenders thing and you're building up, it's that tapping coming through. I'm sorry. When you make something like the Defenders and you've been spending all this time building towards it, you better be really fucking clear on what you're building towards.
Well, and also like the Avengers it has to be the best one. The Avengers was the best.
And it's not.
Justice League is probably going to be the best just by
default.
By default.
Yeah. But like I would rather watch Daredevil season 2.
Or 1. Jessica Jones 1.
Yeah, I would rather watch Luke Cage all over again.
Yeah. Iron Fist is really the only one I think is worse.
It's worse. Yeah, it is. And that's because it has 13 episodes, so it goes on for a couple more hours.
Jesus. But all of them have 13 episodes.
Yeah, but I'm saying like compared to Defenders that has 8.
Yeah. But even I mean, look, man, it's really that like at least in Defenders, he's only a quarter of it.
Yeah.
And he's the whole shebang.
Oh yeah. Oh, I agree with you.
I'd say so. Here's what I'd say. I'd say the writing, man, they should have gotten different writers. I don't know what went wrong there, but man, they fucked that up. Direction is really good. Finn Jones is still not great. Yeah. It's a little nicer that people are calling him out on his bullshit, but it's still not great. The other actors are all on point. Every single person. There isn't a weak link among the rest of them.
Right.
What else? Costumes are great. Special effects are pretty good.
And we've been shitting on it a lot, and I don't think that we've said anything that isn't true or apparent. I liked this series. I didn't love it. I liked it.
I thought it was pretty bad.
Maybe part of me needs to watch it kind of like more in a binge fashion.
Maybe.
Like a little closer together.
Yeah.
Again, I think that initially they set up something really good. And then they just didn't follow through with it.
Well, the hard thing for me, like it's hard for me to recommend this for anyone. Because with all of the other shows, there is something I can point to and say, this is worth watching.
Yeah, if for nothing else, this is worth watching.
Like, if for nothing else, the second season of Daredevil is worth paying to see. You should get Netflix to see Jon Bernthal be the Punisher.
Yep.
Jessica Jones, David Tennant, the two of them and their chemistry and the horrible anxiety and the tension between the two of them is fantastic.
Luke Cage, just for the soundtrack
the
alone.
Music is amazing. And even his characterization of that persona.
Right.
And his relationships with other characters and that sort of thing. And it's also Rosario Dawson's first real big turn as a main character.
Yes.
All of them I have something I can point to that's like, this is worth it.
Right.
Even Iron Fist, there's a great... Did you end up seeing all of it?
Because
when we reviewed it, you hadn't seen it all.
The one where he goes with the drunken kung fu.
Yeah. That scene is amazing.
Even the episode where he has to like go through each
tournament.
Yeah,
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I thought it could have been better, but I wouldn't point to that and say that's worth seeing this whole series for.
That's at least one episode where we go. If you watch no other episode, just watch that one because it's got a lot of fighting and it's
I would say the one with the drunken boxer where he just stumbles across the seemingly crazy homeless man and it turns out to be the number one fighter for Madame Gao is really interesting. Right. That is worth seeing the show for. There's nothing in this that I can point to.
Because we've either A, seen it already.
Well, it's just nothing crazy.
Right. Like, but that's what I mean. Like, that hallway scene is great, but it's literally a hallway scene.
And yeah, we've seen it in every single series before it.
And I get, like, you're trying to build towards that because that's kind of a trademark or something.
Yeah. And it's cool. I would say Charlie Cox in it he really displays his best acting that we've seen so far. But that's still not something that's revolutionary or groundbreaking for Netflix.
Exactly. And like I said, it's not, to me, this series, it's not bad. It's just boring.
Yeah. It's bland.
It's bland. It's very kind of run of the mill.
You needed Wilson Fisk or John Bernthal to just come in with a minigun at some point.
Yeah. Cool. Wanna go on to reading assignments?
Sure.
All right. So a while back, I gave you a reading assignment in anticipation of a film. So we're gonna kind of do a second review of a film in addition to this reading, in combination with this reading assignment. I gave you. I'm gonna try and do this in the right order. Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of Planet of the Apes, in hopes that you would go see War of the Planet of the Apes. So I'm interested. I really like this series.
I know you do.
I know you, and I have a feeling that you do not.
I'm worried that we are going to end the podcast today.
Okay.
It was rough.
All right, let's take this one movie at a time real quick. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the James Franco one.
Is that what they are? Are you positive that that's the order?
I'm pretty sure.
I've got them over here. Let me grab them.
Yeah, grab them.
I can edit this part out. So yeah, you were right.
Okay.
Rise is the first one. Dawn is the second one.
Okay. So Rise of the Planet of the Apes is the first one. Thoughts on that one?
I think it's the best one of the three.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
There's a little more... There's more variety in the acting.
Okay.
It's more localized amongst just a very small handful of characters who are all very different and interesting.
Okay.
Caesar is a very interesting, developing, changing character throughout the entire arc of that movie.
Okay.
He changes a lot, drastically. I mean, more than probably any other character in any other film ever.
Okay.
He goes from literally a baby monkey to a basically a person.
Chimp.
It doesn't matter. We also get, aren't chimpanzees types of monkeys?
Probably.
So we also get James Franco's doing a little bit of phoning it in, but he's fine. And
but you get John Lithgow.
I was going to say John Lithgow's really interesting. From what I've heard, he doesn't give a great performance of what Alzheimer's and dementia actually are.
Yeah.
He's a little wackier than usually. It's a little scarier.
Yeah.
Angrier.
Yeah. But this is like,
he's more just like, I'm trying, I'm failing, as opposed to like aggressive.
Right.
But it's an interesting character.
They do have that one scene with the nurse though, where he's like,
yes,
she's stealing from
right.
him.
Yes. But most of that is from her part, right? Like we mostly see her reacting and she's like, I can't do this anymore. He's crazy. And she runs off. And we do see a little bit of him, but it's mostly her reaction that we see. And I like that I really like the incentive. There's something very personal about James Franco's desire to get his dad back.
Okay.
That I feel, I get it.
Okay.
And that is very personal, and it's something he feels is within his grasp.
Okay.
He can reach out. He just has to do it.
Okay.
And it turns out he's wrong.
Okay. So what about Dawn of Planet of the Apes?
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is interesting. I don't know. Like it's very generic in its pack mentality. There's two sides.
Right.
And then there's the humans as well. Like it starts to get a little more muddled. There's three different sets of things. He's just trying to like live his life. I feel like it could all be avoided if he just he knows the humans, and you can tell that these people they already.
You're talking about Caesar.
Yes.
Okay.
You already could have. the humans already could have killed a number of monkeys. I think they do by accident at one point, and that's where he like loses his mind.
Right.
But they drop their guns immediately. They're like, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to do this. We just want to do this one thing and we'll be on our way. And then he sort of lets them do it, but then he doesn't let them finish. This all could have been avoided. He's trying to practice acceptance and tolerance and forgiveness, but he also doesn't. It's very wishy-washy on the fence. He's also like, no, get out. Whereas this all could have been avoided if he had just done it.
Yes.
And then there's the guy who thinks, well, you're not being harsh enough, the monkey.
I always want to say Kato and Kubo.
It might be.
Okay.
But you know, then there's a splitting up where he takes over for the I don't really understand why there's like they do set up rules and then they follow those rules, but I don't really understand why. Like there's something about like okay, he fell, so they're just gonna follow the leader, and if you take out the leader, then anyone can just step up and do it. Koba.
Thank you.
Why did you thank me? You said it.
Just in general.
Did you thank yourself?
For the world.
Yourself a pat on the back.
Sure.
But, you know, it just, a lot of it doesn't make sense to me. Like, again, they establish these rules and then they follow them, which is good.
Right.
Because I've seen movies where they set up rules and then they don't follow them and it's the worst.
Sure.
But I don't quite understand where these rules come from.
Okay.
Gary Oldman's motivation also doesn't make much sense.
Right.
There's a lot of times where like a human can be like, no, look, here's what happened.
Yeah.
When instead he's just like, I'm going to point a gun at you.
Right.
Don't move. When there's time for him to be like, no, so here's the deal.
Right.
We've been staying with these guys. They're going to try and overthrow the other set that's doing this to the city. We've just got to wait. Look, give me an hour. If it goes to the wayside, we'll blow it up.
Yeah.
Like, that'll be fine.
Okay. So what about War for Planet of the Apes?
Here we go, man.
Okay.
For starters, 3 different groups of people walked out during that movie.
Wow.
When I saw it.
Okay. I
was not one of them.
Okay.
I wanted to at times.
Okay.
I felt like it was really bad. It was so overdramatic and over the top. I didn't really relate to any character in it.
Sure.
Sort of Woody Harrelson, I guess, but he's also an asshole. So,
yeah.
I don't. It was. You know what I think really pushed it over the edge for me?
Sure.
Was the Dobby monkey.
Oh,
played by famous actor.
Yes.
Whose name I can't remember.
Yep. Now I'm gonna look
it up.
I'll look it up. Keep going.
He's just so obnoxious.
Okay.
And like he's just like, I'm doing my best.
Dobby. I just got that reference.
Yeah, he looks like Dobby, and he talks like Dobby. Steve Zahn.
Thank you. Before I even got it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, it's not good. Like that character is really annoying. I don't. It's a plot device to give this disease that's coming about.
Right.
I don't know. And then all of a sudden, like, it's also a plot device that, like, pardon me.
I mean, apparently they agree.
It's also a plot device that, like, the rest of humanity comes to fight the other part of humanity and accidentally all kill themselves. Yeah. And now we're at the start from the 60s.
Yeah. Okay. Let me start from the beginning and I'll kind of bounce off of you. What you said about Rise is really interesting. That actually gives me a new look on Rise.
Sure.
I like Rise.
Yeah.
There are good things about it. There are generic things about it, I think, as well. But the idea that it's the best because it kind of has you like the personal aspect of James Franco's character is really compelling.
Also, the incentives as well. That like there is a really
the motivations.
Yeah, the motivations are very clear to me. Whereas with like the second one, I'm like, I don't really know why anyone is doing anything.
That's the thing is, I actually love Dawn the best.
Yeah,
I think
you
the
had said
second
that.
one's actually the strongest.
Well, I was going to say as well. The second two and the first one are apples and oranges. Like they're very different. Like the first movie is not an action movie, and the second one definitely is. And I think what I like about Dawn is that it really does. I think it is trying, and I think it does accomplish
what it sets out to do, and that to be kind of a parable of sorts about war and about what we do to ourselves and
for the sake of war,
for the sake of whatever, for the sake of power,
just winning
or whatever. And I think it accomplishes that nicely. I do also think it kind of ups the idea of what a summer blockbuster movie can be in playing with a lot of different themes and a lot of different colors. As far as, the Koba Caesar conflict on top of the human ape conflict.
Right.
There's an internal struggle there. And two different philosophies of how to handle a conflict and how to handle each other.
Well, it's I remember you mentioning
how we co-occupy this space.
I remember you telling me that it's a similar parable to Professor Xavier and Magneto, which is that the two of them are comparable to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr.
Right, they're trying to achieve the same goal through two very different means.
Yes.
War, I agree with you on. I think that it was. There were times when I enjoyed it, and let me say this. I enjoyed it overall the same way I enjoy a lot of summer blockbuster movies, but not the same way
not at all.
But not the same way I enjoy these movies, which is with a little something deeper.
Yes, I was going to say there's a subtlety that is very much missing from the third one.
From the third one, it's very straightforward. It is just...
You killed my family, I'm killing you.
I'm killing you. End. And some of that, and at certain times that's compelling. I think there's also a lot of them trying to get... like you said, to the beginning of the 1968 one, or at least lay the groundwork on we really got to start marrying these two series together.
Right.
And this has to happen in this one movie.
Right.
Because we haven't really done it at all in the other two.
Well, there is an interesting parable as well between Caesar and Woody Harrelson, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
That is...
I like to think that general is literally just Woody Harrelson.
Yep. That both of their families have been murdered by the other party.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like that. And like I said, there are tiny little aspects.
But I was going to say they ruin it though, because instead I feel like they should have found an ending, and I don't know what this ending is, but with a little bit of thought, I'm sure we could come up with one where an immovable object has been met with an unstoppable force,
right? Where
they are the same person, and they can't take each other out. Yes. Which maybe that is what they did, and that's why he takes himself out.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But one side wins, which I guess has to happen. But it feels very forced.
I get what. Yes, I understand.
Because they are two sides of the same coin, or perhaps one of my favorite phrases from Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead by Tom Stoppard: the same side of two coins.
Yes, I agree with you, and I remember watching the movie and seeing that other army come up, and then they fight. And initially it was like, oh, twist. And then because it was just like a gut reaction. Yeah. And then when I walked out, I was like, that was kind of lame.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just kind of, it wasn't even lame. It was just on the nose.
Yes.
It was really on the nose of we destroy each other, and that's how the apes survive.
They put a nice little button on it.
Yeah. Whereas in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, they talk about how they receded into the woods and let man fend for himself, and they haven't seen them in 10 years.
Yeah.
And chances are they're all dead.
Men don't even necessarily.
You could have just done that again.
Yeah,
you could have just receded back into the woods.
Man isn't even sure that they exist.
Right.
At the beginning of that movie.
And so, War, like I said, it was a good blockbuster movie, but it kind of lost some of the depth that these other two movies have.
Well, it's interesting too, because the first movie, another thing I really like about it is I've actually seen the first one from the 60s. I haven't seen the whole trilogy, but I really liked it growing up. And the first of the new ones, the James Franco one, Rise, has a woven storyline, has little checkpoints of that.
Right.
There's a part where he looks at the TV and
the Icarus.
The spaceship
it does
is going,
little things, little nods
nice.
that it's it's gonna come.
Right.
This is where we're building.
Whereas War was all about just go. Oh, by the way, we have to match it to this movie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The girl showing up, which was compelling.
Yes.
But between that and the disease that takes their
Right.
thing away. Again, all of it.
It all felt like very forced.
Yeah, while I'm watching the first time, I was like, oh yeah, because then in the thing.
Yeah.
And then I walked away and I was like, yeah, but that was really like, yeah, it was ham-fisted to try and go, okay, we got to get this, we got to move this series like closer to this.
It's like when you're watching The Phantom Menace and you're like, oh man, is Obi-Wan going to die? And then you're like, oh no, he's not.
He's not going to die.
Yeah.
I think they are planning another series of films. I think it's going to be another trilogy. I think their idea is like one more trilogy before it actually like Rogue One up to the other one. I think it's his son or something. Jeez. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But I know that they want to keep going with this series of films.
Yeah.
And honestly, listen, a bad movie of these films is still kind of better than a lot of some of the other movies that they put out. So I'm not against it. Yeah. I'm not like, this is really jump the shark. Like,
I would never recommend War.
I wouldn't recommend War on its own. If they're like, what do you think of the Planet of the Apes series? I'm like, yeah, go ahead, watch them all. That's fine. But I wouldn't be like,
I'd say watch the first
just watch War on its own. That's fine. That's all you need.
I would say if either of the first two are on TV, watch them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay any money to see them. If War comes on, just change the channel.
Nah.
That's what I would say.
That's fair. I don't agree, but I'm not so against it that I will argue with it.
You know what's another thing I liked about Rise that I just remembered and I'd forgotten? You know who's great in that? Tom Felton.
Tom Felton is the guy that...
the asshole who works at the place. Yes. And Brian Cox. Out of nowhere.
That's really good.
Both of them are great together, and they're out of nowhere. Like, I was like, holy shit, is that Brian Cox?
Yes, it is.
You know, and the other movies don't really have that. Like, Gary Oldman, he's in it, and he's a main character, but there's no one else really in that movie.
That pops up, and you're like,
and it's the same with Woody Harrelson. There's no one else really who just pops up, except, I guess, sort of Steve Zahn, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
You know who? I mean, I'll say it. The only reason to watch War, and probably the best part of all three, give Andy Serkis an Oscar already.
Right?
He's fantastic.
He is fantastic through all of these.
Yeah,
and he really his performance in War, for all of its faults, carries you through that.
Well, and you can tell that it's how good he is because he's in a box with a microphone.
Right.
You know, and like some dots on his forehead.
His face. Yeah.
And maybe they're all on a green screen somewhere, and he's interacting with all of them together. But for the most part, that movie is not worthy of him. He deserves much better than that movie.
But the character that is the one thing about War that they did really well is Caesar's arc.
And his performance, I will say his performance in the second one, I would say his performance is the best in that one out of all three.
Right. In Dawn?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think that's one of the reasons I like Dawn the best.
Like when he's like bleeding out on a couch and stuff like that and talking to his son. It's really great emotional scenes.
Yeah, I do, again, this series, even the worst ones are better than most movies that they put out, and it's because they built this really great character in Caesar.
Yeah,
they've taken something that should not be as good as it really is, and done something really good with it.
Well, and this trilogy as well is all about him. Yeah, it starts at his birth and ends at his death.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
But
I literally just told everyone listening not to watch it. So
fair enough. Cool. Do you have anything for me as a reading assignment? You didn't even think ahead to this, did you?
No,
we forgot we do this.
We actually talked about it. I was talking about recommending I'm Not There. The hard part is all my shit is in boxes because I moved to Jersey.
Okay, how about we do this?
No.
All right.
Because I unpacked a handful of comics that I had read that you have not.
Okay.
So I've got to go over and...
You're going to pick one right now?
Pick one.
This is exciting.
I know.
This is what fucking podcasting is all about.
Is it?
Fucking suspense.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I did see that on the top. I actually thought that's what... Are you just bringing that over to me right now? Just going to give that to me in a disc form? What if I break it or something?
You want to find it somewhere?
No, I'd rather just have the disc. Hey, just put it in one of... Yeah, I'll put it in one of those cases.
So, we haven't actually mentioned it, but on your way over here, we had started talking about... I think we started talking about Richard Gere, and then that led us to, or Heath Ledger, or I don't know.
Heath Ledger, it was Heath Ledger.
And his final movies. And one of them is a movie called I'm Not There, which is a metaphysical biopic about, I almost jokingly said the late, great Bob Dylan, but he's still alive.
Yeah, but if you've seen him perform lately,
well, I used to joke that they he actually died 20 years ago. They dug him up, put a stick up his ass, and like got an old police siren from the back.
Sure.
So they bounce him around and run the police siren, and you hear whoa.
Nice burn.
I love Bob Dylan, but this movie, Kate Blanchett's amazing in it. Lots of good. There's actually one character we didn't talk about. There's an actor who is very famous who's in it who looks very different, and we'll talk about that. He's great. And yeah, it's an interesting movie. Cool. Watch it. We'll talk about it.
All right, awesome. That's it.
That's it.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it again.
I really have to pee.
Pure gold.
Should I bring the mic into the bathroom and pee?
I think you should bring the toilet into here and pee.
This is why you're a revolutionary.
Yeah. You gotta think outside the box.
You gotta think
outside
outside
does the box think outside me?
Amazing.
Yeah, did it again.
Gotta think outside the toilet.
Yep. Hey Andrew.
What in the butt?
Where can they find us?
Well, they can find us sitting on this couch right in this living room.
Yeah, why don't you come on over, you lazy bastards? Why do we have to set this up every single time we want to talk to you assholes?
So they can find us on twitter.com, where our handle is @MediaLunchBreak. They can also find us on Facebook by searching for us. We're on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube, because we're going to start giving out free stuff as soon as we get 100 subscribers. I'm not sure how many we're at now. We keep getting more Twitter subscribers, even though we've been off the air for like 3 months.
That's the power of our whatever. The power of our power.
We're also on soundcloud.com/TheMediaLunchBreak. If you feel like chipping in a couple extra bucks.
Come on, who's it gonna hurt?
Actually, you might not even have to, because I've never updated it, and I have to update it in order to get any money, so you could, roll the dice and see what happens.
Give her a shot.
We're on patreon.com/TheMediaLunchBreak. You can also listen to us and give us some reviews or stars or however that works. I think Bitcoins on iTunes or Google Play Music. And you can also, there's 2 more. You can email us at themedialunchbreak@gmail.com, or feel free to give us some, I think they call them, the kids these days call them hits on our website, which is www.themedialunchbreak.com.
Nicely done. Did it all by your lonesome.
And as a reminder, I think we mentioned this on the episode last week, we're going to be at Comic-Con in New York on October 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yes.
We're going to be giving out free stuff. We've got a ton of it. Trust me, I'm filling a bag every day, and it's so heavy. We're going to be asking trivia questions. We're going to have games. We're going to just come up to random people. If you recognize us, please come up to us
and tell us how the fuck you did that.
Yep, we're gonna release a game though that you guys can play. That's gonna be able to let you win.
It's called May Surprise. You're either going to come up to me and talk to me, and I'm either going to be so happy that you recognize me, I'm going to give you a prize, or I'm going to be so scared of you, I'm going to mace you in the face. We might want to come up with a different game.
I thought you were going to say a different name. You're like, I like the game, but May Surprise is not great.
Yeah, that's the part that needs revamping.
It does.
No, we're going to have different games. We're going to have lots of games. We're going to have one game. We're going to have that game, but it's going to be good.
See, I like the idea of we're going to do trivia as well. We're just going to find random people and be like, do you want to answer a trivia question to win a thing?
Yep.
But we do have at least one really fun game in mind. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
Keep an ear out. I almost said eye out, but we're mostly audio. We're probably also going to do a lot more stuff on YouTube. I'm planning on actually putting up video at some point, especially at New York Comic Con. It's going to be. We're not quite sure how we would bring a microphone into a computer, so it might be easier to just take video of us doing stuff.
Sure.
So, again, subscribe there because we're going to do more there.
Yeah, check us out there. And again, check us out at Comic-Con 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th of October. That's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
also,
Sunday.
I think last week we made a joke about not having our grinder set up yet. It's because I still haven't, as of recording this, set up. I haven't posted the ones where we joke about that, and I'm, going to make a poll at some point.
I really want to get this grinder going.
Well, we don't know that it's a grinder yet. They're going to vote on it because there was Bernie Singles.
What is it? Yeah.
Bernie Singles,
yes.
Which was the Bernie Sanders dating site.
Yes.
I think Tinder was one.
Tinder was definitely one of them.
OkCupid.
Yeah.
I think Christian Mingle. There's a farmer one as well.
Yeah.
So who knows? It could be any of those.
Okay.
I think we're just assuming Grindr because it's gonna be Grindr. More people are gonna vote for Grindr, right?
But listen, never give up the hope for a dark horse candidate.
That's true. I think as well, if we do Grindr, we should upload our picture and say we're in an open relationship.
Fine with me.
Like, of both of us.
Yeah, that's good. I'm good with that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it.
Yeah, that's it.
Next week we're going to come back and have more news, and then we'll talk about a thing, and I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that DVD as well.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah. All right.
Is that the end?
Yeah, I think it's the end. Who can really tell? Is it really ever the end, Andrew?
Do you think Bob Dylan will ever die?
No.
He'll probably be dead by the time I put this up on SoundCloud.
That's going to be really weird for you. And really funny for me. Do you think by putting this up on SoundCloud you're going to kill Bob Dylan?
Oh my god. I mean, I didn't.
But now?
Well, there's only one thing to do now. We have to kill Bob Dylan.